As the most successful club in the Irish League, Linfield FC are not short of enemies. Additionally, their close association with political loyalism and unionism in Northern Ireland throughout their existence has made them the object of hatred that extends beyond the pitch. Playing their games at Windsor Park, where the Northern Irish national team also plays their home fixtures, Linfield have won 52 Irish League titles, more than twice the total of any of their competitors and second only to Rangers' world record of 54 in Scotland. Their early history was categorised by their rivalry with Belfast Celtic and the combustible nature of matches between the two. Their clashes in 1912 and 1948 were the most spectacular of these, and the latter led to Belfast Celtic permanently leaving football. When the West Belfast club departed the game, it was in part because they believed that the Irish Football Association and the Northern Irish state itself was too closely intertwined with the country's most prominent and most Protestant sporting institutions. In the aftermath of the fateful events of 1948, where a Protestant Belfast Celtic player had had his leg broken by fans as he attempted to leave the pitch, a letter writer in the Belfast Telegraph said that the club would do well to recognise that sport should not be prostituted with politics or religion. Linfield were banned from playing at Windsor Park for just 1 month, or 2 home matches, a fact which some observers saw as an example of the Irish Football Association's perceived leniency towards the club. Harry Diamond, who was a Republican Socialist member of the Northern Irish Parliament at Stormont, suggested that Linfield chairman Harry Midgley, who was also an Ulster Unionist MP, was guilty of leading the singing of bitter sectarian songs which were an incitement to the players. Midgley refuted the allegations against himself and the illustrious, honourable and high-tradition club, and his parliamentary colleague Edmund Warnock said the Irish nationalists were making hay out of the events for political purposes in order to blacken the name of the RUC, which was, in any case, impartial. Although Linfield's physio during this era, Jerry Morgan, was known to be a Catholic, Linfield were either unwilling, unable, or both to sign more than a handful of Catholics after the Second World War, a state of affairs which persisted for several decades. Though a couple of Catholics from outside the island of Ireland joined the club in the late 1980s, the situation came to a head in 1992 when an American priest, Father Sean McManus, picked up on remarks made by Linfield's then manager, Eric Bowyer. Bowyer was quoted as saying that he could not envision Linfield signing a Catholic player because it wouldn't be in the interests of the club or the player. Later, he clarified, "A part of me wanted this to open up because I wanted to sign Catholic players. I didn't see any sense in cutting half the population off." Father McManus saw things differently and organised a campaign to pressure sponsors of Linfield and the Northern Irish national team to cut their financial ties. His organisation, the Irish National Caucus, threatened to disrupt preparations for the 1994 World Cup, to be held in the USA should Northern Ireland qualify, and demand that Linfield be expelled from the Irish League, saying their approach was, quote, the equivalent of an American coach saying he could not hire a black or a Jew. Although no sponsors withdrew, nor was any serious action commenced, Linfield did attempt to sign a Catholic player, Jim McFadden, not long afterwards, but he lived in a district of Belfast, the New Lodge, which would have made doing so difficult. Despite rumours that his wage would be quadrupled, he told the local press, "The climate was simply not right. It would be difficult to envisage any Catholic player signing for Linfield, although I could see an English or Scottish Catholic playing for them." Happily, change arrived sooner than McFadden could have envisaged. Chris Cullen soon arrived as Linfield's first local Catholic since the war, shortly followed by Desi Gorman, their first arrival from the Republic of Ireland in half a century. When Martin Bailey was added to the roster later in the season, Linfield could now count 3 Catholic players among their number. Fast forward to 2011, and Michael Galt, a Catholic, became Linfield's first captain. Another momentous event in the club's long history, and a reflection of the gradual progress away from the deeply entrenched sectarianism that was prevalent in Irish League football for so much of its history.